name's Adrian Lane, and I'd like to tell you a little bit about the working methods and ideas behind my latest album, Water Wash Away the Waves. For each album, I usually start off with a basic idea or mood that I want to create, something that's often quite intangible and hard to put into words. But I have a basic idea of the kind of sound palette that I'm going to use. And for this album, I wanted to use a lot of very sort of lo-fi sounds combined with more kind of high-tech sounds as well. So using a lot of old technology, like a 100-year-old piano that I've got, some vintage synthesizers, and probably most importantly, a mini cassette dictaphone. I recorded a variety of sounds into the dictaphone, some of them the vintage synthesizer, some digital sounds, sound libraries, virtual instruments, and then I recorded that back into the computer and used some of those as samples, loops that I'd sort of cut up and rearrange, and then other ones I actually use in a sampler as a sample instrument. So playing a long note on the synthesizer, for example, and then using that spread across the keyboard as a new virtual instrument. So here's an example. First of all, I've just got a long note from the Gen SX1000, just recorded a long note into the computer. I'm not going to play all of that. So that's the basic note. I then taken the dictaphone and recorded it into that. So here's the dictaphone version, and you can hear it's really, really lo-fi, a lot of hiss in there, quite distorted, but that's kind of what I was going for. So I quite like the sort of the instability of the sound when it goes through the dictaphone. So that sound I've then taken into the computer. I've noise reduced it a little bit, and then I've taken that into the sampler. So just for this example here, I've just used the simpler in Ableton, and I've just improvised a little riff there with the sound. So here we have it. And I quite like the unstable tuning that you get and the kind of warbles from the tape. So that was a version with a fair bit of noise reduction on it, but sometimes I also quite like it without any noise reduction. So just here I've got a couple of sounds in there that I've done just pretty much the signal from the dictaphone, but put into the sampler. And I've sort of left the tape hiss in this one. And then just to show you kind of how it combines, so we can hear both of those together. One thing that I do quite like to do is that with the original dictaphone signal, you might have noticed at the beginning there's an odd little sound that's kind of on the I guess the previous recording that was on the tape. So if I go to the beginning of that. So that little sound there, I've used that kind of thing quite often to sort of cut up and to create these sort of slight textures in the background, and sometimes some of the hiss itself I've used as not exactly a percussive element, but something that sort of comes in and out in a kind of rhythmical way. Lastly, I want to do a breakdown of a piece from the album, Night Transforms to Daybreak. It's the shortest piece on the album and also the piece with the least amount of individual tracks in it. There's 6 instruments involved in this piece. It starts off, here we have it, with the Korg Poly 800 that's been recorded into the dictaphone. This time, instead of it being used as a sample instrument, I just simply played the piece, I recorded it, and then took it into the computer and noise reduced it. It's playing pretty much almost a drone, just a simple root note and a fifth, I think. From that, we also then have the piano. So this is my upright piano. Again, it's recorded through a dictaphone, so you get a very kind of distorted sound. It's actually a couple of tracks put together and sort of chopped up, but again, very simple, just playing the kind of the main root of the key at different octaves. On top of that, we have another cleaner piano sound. And this is playing a more melodic piece. And then we also have another slightly distorted synth sound here. So those 4 bits all go together as I said, it's quite a short track, so at about 1.5 minutes, the 2 piano tracks finish, the other synth finishes, and we're just left with the Poly 800, and then 2 more synths come in for the sort of closing section that lasts just under 30 seconds. So we've got 3 layers of sort of distorted synths here. Okay, so that sort of concludes my introduction to the album and some of the techniques and processes I've gone through. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks very much.